ASMR video. Well, actually, technically third because the first run that I did of this ASMR video, um, it was a little bit wonky. Um, but yeah, it's fine. Um, Today we are going to be reading true scary stories on Reddit from r/true scary stories on Reddit. And some of these stories are kind of crazy. I did save one post from the first run of the video that I did, but the rest of them are going to be fresh new stories. So you're gonna get my raw reaction. But yeah, let's get into it. I set up the mood. I put like the red lights and everything to make it more spooky or whatever. Um, I also have some watermelon with me. I don't know if I can show you guys. Hey, some watermelon, and I got my water. So, I don't get dehydrated because I am a noob at ASMR. Well, not really. I mean, I listen to a lot of ASMR, so I'm not a complete noob. Um, but I do get parched a little bit. Actually, let me drink some water. Do y'all like the gulp sounds? I don't know. Um, but yeah, let's move into the first story, which is a story that I already looked at. Um, but yeah. Okay, let me see if okay. Okay. Scariest thing that ever happened to me. And let me show you. Okay, let me not look at my like look down the whole time. Okay, like straight down. Okay, I got a good one for you guys. It's a long read. Just heads up. This story effed me up. Okay, I was about 10 or 11 when this happened. My mom and my brothers and I lived in a tribal house, Rabbit Ridge, located in Keshena, Wisconsin. They all went to my grams for the evening and asked if I wanted to come with. I wanted to stay home, so I was by myself. I ended up hearing this tapping noise for like 5 minutes and couldn't figure out where it was coming from. My mom had this drum set in the corner of our living room. I specifically remember watching American Dad and turned it down and determined it was coming from the drum set. I went and checked to see if maybe a mouse or something got stuck in one of the drums. I end up seeing the top of one of drums ripple after I heard the tapping. Wait, did I say that right? Okay. Got stuck. I end up seeing one of the drums ripple after I heard the tapping noise, but didn't see anything in the drum. I kind of got scared, but more intrigued. I saw and heard the drum hit again, so I hit myself. A little harder. Oh, I think there was a spelling mistake. Um, yeah, and the thing, whatever it was, I hit it, back just as hard. I did this like 5 more times, and it was responding. I wanted to continue to do this, but it deep down started to really freak me out. I did it one more time and got no response. I did it again and still no response. Damn, kids. Damn. Like, if that happened to me, I would be like running out. Like, I don't know. But I guess, I mean, kids like have like different reactions to this sort of stuff, I guess. But yeah, all of a sudden from the back of my hallway, I heard something sprinting down the hallway right at me. All I thought to do was cover up and plug my ears. I then uncovered my ears and didn't see anything, but could feel something evil watching me. I remember sweating so bad I could feel what felt like each droplet on my head and back. I called my grandpa, panicked, and had him come and get me. Anyhow, some 20 years later, 6 months ago, my uncle called me and was really freaked out and said he had this horrible dream when he was back at the house in Rabbit Ridge in the nighttime. He said he could hear his mom, my grandma, screaming from inside the house. He said he went in and my grandma went running out and said there was something in the back room. He said he went to go see what it was and went to the back room. He said the house was the same setup as when we were kids, when I was living there. He said he saw this man sitting on the bed looking back at him with an inhumanely big smile. Aaron, my uncle, asked him who he was and he stated, "Don't you remember me?" Aaron said, "No. Who are you?" He said, "I'm the man that was effing with your nephew all them years ago on the drum set." Aaron said his heart dropped and he got super freaked out and the man jumped out of the window. Now, I don't know what to think, but I do believe those two things were connected. Aaron showed me a picture of what the guy thing looked like. I wanted to post it on here somewhere. I find it super odd that 20 years had to pass, and we have our families now. This story/memory still sends chills down my spine. Yeah, when I first read this story, it was so creepy, because it's like, you know, when you experience something alone, like, you know, at least you can maybe like rationalize it a little bit. Like maybe I did imagine something, like maybe I did imagine it, or maybe like, I don't know, maybe there's a more logical explanation or whatever, but like his uncle also experiencing it, and like 20 years later, out of the blue, like not like a day later, not like a week later, not it being like fresh in his mind, but like 20 years later, his spirit comes back and he's like, "You know what, actually, that was me. Anyway, that's super creepy, and it has an image with it, and I low-key don't want to look at it. I'm scared. It's literally nighttime. And I don't want to look at it again, so I might like edit it into the video, and if I forget, I'm so sorry. Tell me in the comments if I forget, and I'll send you the link. But oh my god, it's so scary. Like, I don't want to look at it. I'm like a scaredy cat. But yeah, that story was insane. And let me. Okay, there are some comments. It's like, well, obviously they want to see the photo. A lot of them do. It's so creepy, dude. That is freaking scary, man. Yeah, it is insanely scary. And I wonder, like, again, like, why now? Why would they say that, like, now? And I wonder why in, like, the dream it's, like, the same setup as, like, it was, like, 20 so years ago, right? I don't know, it's, like, it's so crazy. And it's so weird. And, yeah, it is. It's a lot to unpack. But yeah, like, hopefully that spirit don't come back. It doesn't come back, and hopefully they continue to live their lives without this thing haunting them or whatever. But yeah, it's crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. trying to see ones that are not like too fresh too, because there are some that like are posted a lot more recently, but there aren't like any replies. So then it's just like you're really just like conversing with yourself and like unpacking it by yourself. And there's a lot of people that I've on Reddit that say a lot of stuff and have like a new fresh take on stuff, and then you're like, oh, that makes sense. But yeah. Okay. Let's look at this one. It says, when I was a little... Okay. Also, I want to make sure that this is not like too... This volume is not like too low. Okay, I'm like monitoring right now. Okay. When I was a little boy, there was a monster under my bed. We've all had that moment, right? There's one right now, actually, and I'm just joking. I'm just kidding. We've all had that fear, right? Or most of us at least, right? Okay. Okay, let me just do this first. My bad. Okay. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm buckled in, y'all. Okay. When I was a little kid, I don't know how old, 7 or 8, at the oldest. Let me raise this again. Okay. Me and my twin sister shared a bedroom. Our beds were directly across the room from each other, and we'd frequently chat all night. We'd gone out with our mom and older siblings, and came home very late at night. For 7-year-old, maybe it was 10 p.m. LOL. When we got home, it was off to bed with us, and we laid in the dark and talked for a while. Also, let me adjust this mic, it's a little too high for me. Okay. Where was I? Okay, when we got home, it was off to bed with us, and we laid in the dark and talked for a while. My sister seemed really strange, like frozen, unmoving, and not talking. I went and got in bed with her and asked her what was wrong. She said that we had to be brave and run to Mom's room because there was a monster looking at her from beneath my bed, and I was just previously laying in. I turned away from her and looked into the dark void that was beneath my bed, and I don't know, I felt it too. There was a monster under the bed. I couldn't see it, but I could feel it watching us. I think we counted to 10 quietly and ran to my mom's room to tell her about the monster. As we stood in the mouth of our mother's doorway crying, hyperventilating, a man ran by our mother's room, slammed the door, and escaped the back door of the kitchen. A man had broken in while we were away and hidden under my bed. I don't think about this often, but sometimes I wonder what would have happened if my sisters never sensed him. Spooky. Spooky stuff. People are terrifying. So sorry, this is written out poorly. I'm on a 15-minute break from work with not much time left on it. I don't know, I think that tells us everything we had to know. That's insane, right? Also, I feel like the room just got darker. I don't know, I didn't do anything. It's the spirits. Now, but yeah, that one's not a paranormal thing or anything, but like a real life human situation. And sometimes, like these situations that are like that blatantly seems realistic and that you can grasp. And in this case, they actually saw it, right? Like, they saw the man. That is just insanely scary, man. Like, sometimes it's other humans that that make life so scary, right? But yeah, oh my god. His sister, like, oh my god. She has an incredible instinct because, wow. You know, it's just like, I'm, at the end, I just like, glad that nothing happened to that family, and hopefully nothing else happened after that. I don't think there's well, I think this happened a long time ago, so obviously the OP, I believe, is fine. Thank God. But yeah, this is like so scary to like think about and like to have witnessed, and like, yeah, I'm just glad that they all made it out safe, especially with a man like under the bed of a child. Like, oh my god, that's some scary stuff. Okay, there's only like two comments, but it says like, you live to tell your tale unharmed, and that's all that matters now. Glad nothing bad had happened to neither of you, your sister, nor anyone else in your family. Yeah. Yeah, and the reply says, sometimes people are scarier than ghosts or monsters. Yeah, again, sometimes it's not the paranormal, or I guess the what you can't see, but what you can. And yeah, just glad that you made it safe, because yeah, let's look at another story. Um, let's see. I only saved like 3. I'm like looking at, I'm like, I only saved 3. Okay. Okay, this one doesn't have any replies. Ooh, it's pretty long though. Okay, I kind of want to look at this even though it doesn't have any replies. Okay. It says, there's a mimic haunting me. Okay, I've seen like a couple stories about like mimics before, so this should be pretty interesting. Okay. This is a long one, so we gotta buckle up. Okay. It says, the story I'm about to tell you is 100% true, and it happened to me about a year ago. At the time, I lived in a basement apartment with my fiance, male 25. Okay, I'm gonna move this, I don't know. These mics are so hard to adjust. Sorry about that. The story I'm about to tell you is 100% true. It happened to me about a year ago. At the time, I lived in the basement apartment with my fiance, male 25. His name is Louis. Okay, Louis. I'm gonna say Louis. At the first apartment. The first apartment was everything we wanted. But over time, the energy shifted. What once was a positive vibe turned into a heavy, depressing, and honestly very negative energy. I haven't thought about this incident since, because it happened so long ago, and to be honest, I don't like thinking about it or talking about it. I'm a firm believer, the more you talk about it, the more it manifests into your reality, but it's come to the point where it's too hard to ignore. One night, my fiance and I were working late. We're both content creators, so our evenings usually consist of writing scripts, editing our videos, and occasionally we have time for a show or movie. years. I could hear it easily from my office. This night I was very focused, and Louis opened my door slightly. I saw him from the corner of my eye, his silhouette, hat, and everything. However, I did not want to be interrupted or bothered because I was on a roll. So automatically I said, "Leave me alone. Not now." That's how it's written. If you want to see, y'all want to see how it's written. I don't know. Okay, you guys can see it. Sad face. Leave me alone. Not now. I'll admit, it was a bit snappy. But we have this rule where we don't knock, talk, or chat until a certain time. And it wasn't that time yet. I was not in the mood, but I felt bad, so I called his name immediately after he walked away. But here's the thing. 2 seconds later, I hear Frank shifting gears in his car simulator and yelling, "Frick." I can't. Can I say curse words? I'm avoiding curse words. I don't want to be demonetized. I'm just joking. Um, yeah, frick. Frick. That's when my heart dropped to the pit of my stomach, and my eyes widened because there was no way he was just at my door. It takes time to set up his entire shelf in his car simulator, and there was no way in that short amount of time he went from my room to his office. I continued to call his name so he would come to my office, but it took like 3-4 times before he heard me through his headphones. He comes into my room with a confused look on his face, wondering why I called. Why I was calling. Okay, immediately I asked him what he wanted earlier. When he came to my room, he looked at me puzzled, and he had no idea what I was talking about. So I asked if he knocked on my door, opened my door, and came into my room at all within the last 5 minutes. He said no. I frantically explained everything to him and what I'd just experienced. He was creeped out, but not as much as me, clearly, because that night he slept like a baby. I don't get that. I guess some people just like process things differently. It's like, maybe it was an intruder, but like, you know what? I'm gonna go to sleep. Damn. I don't know. However, I did not. It didn't stop there though. There was more. That one incident that took place that night, and even later that week. I can tell those stories in another Reddit post if you're interested. Just let me know in the comments. I am very interested. This story is to explain why I think it's back. It's back. Okay. Before we continue reading the rest of the story, this incident reminds me of another story that I read. That was about like this wife, and I think or this girlfriend, I don't know. She was like showering or something. I don't know if I'm mixing it up, but and like apparently, like she thought her boyfriend was like pranking her or something, and then the boyfriend was like, "No, I didn't do that." I don't remember how it ended. But it reminded me of that one. But yeah, that is so creepy. Okay, let's see where we were. Damn, this story has a lot to unpack. Okay. moved somewhere else because the basement apartment was just too depressing, and honestly, we needed more space. We now have 2 floors. This is great because I don't hear Louis shifting gears anymore, and I can film edit without hearing him film his content. The space is nice, plus we have a room for our 2 beautiful kittens. Little kittens, okay. My office is upstairs, where the entrance, living room, kitchen, and bathroom are. Frank's office is downstairs along with our bedroom. It is a beautiful apartment with high ceilings, and at first it reminded me of Gilmore Girls. I love Gilmore Girls. Anyway, in my office particularly, there are 3 huge windows. During the day, it's beautiful, but at night, it's kind of effing creepy. At first, I love coming into my office at night time because naturally I am a night owl, but now I hate it. My 2 8-month kittens don't even like coming into my office now, not even during the day. At first, I didn't think it was a bad energy, but my mind is shifting fast. But Louis, and I have seen this phantom cat. At least that's what we named it at first. I thought it was the spirit of his doggo that recently passed away, but now I'm not convinced. I consider myself very in tune with energy, and I've always been a very spiritual person. Since I was a child, I pick up on things quick. My cats look into my office and stand at the door. Not lately, but in the past, their tails have gotten poofy. They won't even stay upstairs at night. In fact, our bedroom door will be open and they choose to stay in the bedroom. We tried introducing them to wandering and running upstairs at nighttime after Louis and I go to bed. But one time we did that, and they came running into our bedroom, freaked out. Ever since they refused to go back upstairs alone at nighttime. That was loud. Sorry, y'all. That was really loud. Also, why do I feel like this? Am I going crazy? But is this camera like getting like more red? Like, am I getting more red? I'm getting more red as the paranormal activity keeps on going. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Anyway. Where was I? Yeah. Ever since they refused to go back upstairs alone at nighttime. The other day I saw someone standing at our front door. I was filming for my YouTube channel. It looked like Louis, so I didn't acknowledge him, but because I know he has a key, and he could be very visibly see me filming from the window. I thought he was dropping off one load of groceries at the front door and then going back to the car to grab the rest. He was taking so long, so I called him to ask why, and he answered the phone. I could clearly... Okay, I think that's a typo. I could clearly hear the background noise of a public setting. He said that he was just checking out of the cash register. Okay, oh my god. Another thing is that I think it's trying to possess me, or it's draining the crap out of me. I feel so drained all the time, and lately my anxiety is through the roof. I'm also having problems with my health. I'm actually going to head to the emergency after posting this because I've been on my period for 3+ weeks. At first I thought it was a mimic, then I thought it was gone, but now something much more evil. It's not attached to the house, I get that. It's probably Frank or but Frank. Huh? Alright, but I don't know. I don't know how to get rid of it. So if you have any advice, please don't be shy. If you would like to use this story for your social media as you plan. Okay, wait, is this real? I think this is real. It says Amber. U/Amber after midnight. What's that? I don't think I've ever seen that. Oh, I think that's just their socials. Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot to unpack. You know, the first half sounded very familiar, you know, like you always hear like the mimic stories and like, you know, people sounding like your loved ones and stuff like that. And I guess in a way that's happening in a non-paranormal level with like, you know, AI and, you know, like AI phone calls with like people like literally being able to take your loved one's voices and make it seem like you're on a phone call with them, but then you actually call your loved one and they're like, what? No, I'm not on, like, I don't need help. Like, I'm not, I wasn't kidnapped, or like, I don't need like $2,000 or whatever. But yeah, that stuff is creepy. That is so creepy. And then like this, everything else, it's just like, wow, that is a lot. I just don't know. And like the cats too, it's like, you know, I think it's the same with like kids. And you know, like how kids like sense like paranormal stuff, and like they can see things that we don't. Um, and I guess it's the same with like dogs too. And like, oh my god, like sometimes my dog like just barks at nothing, and I'm like, you're scaring me. Oh my god, stop, please, for my sanity. Okay, I think I'm running out of water. Um, but yeah, it's like, it's so crazy and so creepy. And honestly, I think this is the perfect opportunity to include my little paranormal story. I guess in the middle of all of these other true paranormal stories. So I guess buckle up. Actually, you don't really have to. It's not really even that long. Um, and I don't really even remember half of it because it happened when I was a kid. Good stuff, good stuff. What's your guys' favorite fruit? Mine's, I think, would be watermelon, honestly. Watermelon is so good. I love it. I love watermelon juice. Watermelon on its own. Frozen watermelon. I don't know. Um, watermelon ice cream. I don't think I've ever had it. Does that exist? I've seen like those like Korean watermelon ice creams, I think. Are they Korean? I don't know if I'm lying. Let me take a little bit more watermelon before I dive into this. Sorry, y'all. But passion fruit is really good, but I don't think I would eat it on its own. It's just like in the drink, like the passion fruit drink, like agua de maracuya. Um, yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, let me move into my story then, I guess. Yeah, but I guess it kind of relates to, like what I was saying before, like, you know, animals and children see stuff that we honestly don't see sometimes. And my sister reminds me of this all the time. But let's actually start way back then. She said I was a kid. I don't know how old I was, but she says all the time. She mentions it every time I have a very paranormal experience because in my family, I've actually had a lot of odd experiences happen to me specifically. And, I don't know. Maybe I am being haunted. I don't know. But yeah, let's get into the story. I'm like rambling on. Okay, so a couple of years ago when I was a little kid, my sister said that for years straight, I would just, I would scream and cry. And during the nighttime, because I said that some little girl was trying to get to me. And obviously I have like no recollection of this. Like every time she says it, I'm like, I do not remember this. Or maybe like if I'm trying to remember, I'm like, yeah, maybe I like vaguely remember. I don't know. I was like, and she was like, yeah, for like a year straight you would do this. I was like, damn, I have no recollection. And I was like, well, maybe I was like lying, or maybe I just was being like a kid, like throwing a tantrum every night time, because I think I've always been like a really big scaredy cat, not gonna lie. She was like, but you were a kid, like what kind of kid would like make that up, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, yeah, maybe. But then, I think like a week ago, or like a few days ago, so this happened really recently, but I was showering. Okay, now I'm getting the chills. Cause I'm like, I don't know. I'm scared. I'm still scared and shaken. But, yeah, a few days ago I was showering and I was alone with my dog. And, yeah, I was showering alone with my dog. And some, okay, I had my speaker in my bathroom, so on full blast, because that's just me. I love blasting music and I love singing in the shower. Who doesn't? But yeah, blasting music so I like really couldn't hear anything. And my dog, since I was alone with my dog in an apartment, he doesn't like being alone. He's very, very clingy. So he kind of like forced himself into the bathroom. So I just let him chill in the bathroom, whatever. It's fine. I always have the door locked because I don't like anybody like walking in when I'm showering. Like whatever. Also like I'm paranoid. Whatever. My dog starts scratching on the the door. And that's he usually does that when somebody like he somebody's in the apartment, you know, because then he's like, that's my time to dip. Because, like, I'm not alone, okay? Yeah. I think my dog is also a scaredy cat. He's just like me. Okay, I need to stop joking around. This is not funny. Actually, I'm laughing to go because this is still scary. But yeah, he scratched on the door and was like, okay. Like, I don't know, I felt like so weird. Like those gut feelings. It's like, okay, I turned down the music after that, and I kid you not, like a second later, I see that the doorknob is being violently shaken. Like somebody really wanted to enter the bathroom, and so I was like, okay, maybe it's my dad. And I came back from wherever he was, I don't know. And I was like, oh my god. I still didn't open because I was like, oh, like just wait until I use the bathroom. Okay, whatever. I'm cruel, I guess. But yeah, and I messaged my dad. I was like, was that you? Because like usually I think it's him, but like a feeling inside of me was like, I don't know if I should really open or so I messaged him, you know, and he was like, no. And it couldn't have been my mom either or anybody else because my mom was at work. So I was like, oh my god, that's so fucking weird. And so I finished showering, dog's with me, still scratching on the door because he thinks somebody's in the apartment. I'm like, I'm scared. Call my dad. And then like go out and there's nobody there. And I know my dad is not like messing with me because he's like, I'm not there. I'm not there. And my dad is not like the type of person to like pull a prank and like lie like that. And when he does pull a prank, he like immediately tells me after. He's like, just kidding with me. It's like, oh my god, I hate you. Whatever. But yeah, man, the whole experience shook me to my core. Yeah, and yeah, it's been a couple days, and low-key, I'm still shaken, and I don't know. It was really creepy. But yeah, hopefully nothing like that ever. Okay, let me not say that, because then you say something, and then the opposite happens, you know? That's just me, and my luck. Whatever. But yeah, let's read more of these stories. I gotta scroll right down to see this one. Okay. I scrolled really down. I don't know if this might be my last Reddit story or something. I don't know. That my story took so long to say. Oh my god. I ramble so much, guys. I don't know. I'm not a very good storyteller. Like, I'm literally a communications major. Like, what the hell? Do you guys like the munching noises? I don't know. Yeah. Guys, I love torturing myself because I literally just watched a horror movie before filming this. Well, it wasn't really a horror movie, it was more like a horror thriller. Ready or Not, Here I Come, like Ready or Not Part 2. It was pretty good, I liked it. I kinda spoiled it for myself, because I really wanted to know the ending. I won't spoil anything, but you guys should probably watch it if you guys like the first movie. Second movie's actually pretty good. And the day before that, like yesterday, I watched Obsession. It was really good. Oh my god. What's her name again? Indy, I think. She is a phenomenal actor. You should definitely watch the movie, and I know there's been a lot of praise for it. But yeah, it is truly an incredible movie. Yeah. Okay. This title really is scary. So yeah, it says my phone sends my boyfriend messages in the middle of the night. Buckle in, y'all. Buckle in. Okay, there may or may not be a scientific explanation for what we have experienced. It seems too coincidental, so let us dive in from the start. It all started with one random night in the middle of January, when my boyfriend and I said our usual goodnight and hit the bed and drifted off to sleep. However, when I woke up the next day, I saw I had a video call from him at 3:25 a.m. It was unusual, and I had asked him about it, only to find out his phone has been dead the whole night, and he plugged it in the next morning. So the possibility of a voice video call from a dead phone? Unlikely. A few days later, we go to the bed, the same usual goodnight routine. When I wake up next day morning and check my phone, I send a text from the phone to his at 2:59 a.m. Just one single text, that's it. I was asleep the whole night and had no memory of ever locking my phone and messaging him at all. The next day, again, the same thing happens. A different message to him at the same time, 2:59 a.m. Just one single message, but a different one this time. Again, I have no memory of this ever happening. We found it eerie, but had possible conclusions that it could possibly be a case of server reset or some sort of network issues. And then it stopped until a few weeks ago, when similar events started occurring again, and more severe. We were texting around 1 a.m. when we said our goodnight and drifted off to sleep. I was really tired and slept the whole night without waking up in the middle, and the next day it happened again. We saw messages sent from the phone to his phone at 1:56 a.m. The messages read, "Baby, it's 2," which is a pretty odd thing to say for myself, because if I wake up from my sleep, I would usually ask if he's awake first or text about me not getting sleep. The tone on the text did not sound like me at all. Those texts in a way prove that it cannot be me writing it, but there's no one else using my phone either. And the most recent incident happened last week. I slept off at 2 a.m. I was pretty tired and exhausted from the day's work. My boyfriend, however, stayed up at night finishing his work, and while he was texting me, he got a few messages from my phone at 3:08 a.m. He saw me instantly and replied to it, but my phone was offline soon after. What's more scary is the texts that were sent from my phone were not exactly related to what he was talking about. I was asleep the whole night. We still have no idea what caused all of these texts, and the fact that it only happens in the middle of the night and never during the day does not make it any better. Have you experienced anything like this, or have any clue of what might be possible explanation to this? explanations for this. Maybe it is a phone thing, like a phone malfunction or whatever. Let me look back at the story and see, because if I remember, okay, this all happens when she's asleep, right? I don't know if there's like a possibility that maybe she's like asleep walker, like a sleep Dexter. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, well, yeah, but then the part where it's like he saw it instantly and replied to it, but my phone went offline soon after. I don't know. Wow, that's insane. They all seem to happen at like 2, 3 a.m., right? Oh my god. Yeah, that's so creepy. I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I'm scared. But, yeah. Okay, the first reply. Okay, the first comment is from a boyfriend. It says, I'm the boyfriend, can confirm this actually happened, and it was just as weird as it sounds. OB said exactly, babe. Yeah, that is so weird. Yeah. One of the comments says, strange, have you tried putting your phone out of your reach during the nights? Like, leave it under your mattress or something. Maybe you're sleep texting without fully waking up. Have you ever sleepwalked before? Yeah, so, as I said before, it's like, maybe it is her sleep texting, and she doesn't know. But honestly, like, I'm thinking, like, if that's the case, then maybe she should get a camera. Like, a nice, oh my god, I'm so sorry. But, like, a nice camera. Like a security camera or whatever. That will capture her sleeping throughout the night. And see that if she's really sleep texting or if it's something else. I think that would really get some answers. But Opie says, haven't tried that yet. Haven't tried that yet, but I will. And no, I don't have any actual account of sleepwalking, but there might be a possibility. What's weird is after the incident with the message my boyfriend gets, I checked the settings, which shows if my phone was unlocked at a certain hour and for how long. So it shows that I have locked it at 3 a.m. for 20 seconds or so. It's unusual because my face unlocks only works when my eyes are wide open, and I tend to take longer than 20 seconds to open my phone using password at times if I'm drowsy, so unlocking it, typing the messages, and shutting the app again with such a short span is weird. I could be sleep texting, but such stuff makes us doubt it too. Yeah, okay, now that makes it a lot more odder too. I don't know. Oh my god. I'm like looking at it again. Yeah, see, now that stuff like that makes it seem like a little bit more like creepy. I wonder if her phone just unlocks with like Face ID. Maybe it's just like her password. I'm like talking about using password at times. Takes it in longer than using passwords. I don't know. Maybe her sleepwalking state is like much more faster. It's just like typing like real fast, like, yeah, send this text. Oh my god. Okay, there's another reply, and it says, I see a much more possibility of your phone getting hacked. Make sure you all get your phones checked. Okay. Yeah, no, that makes some sense too. Maybe, okay, the OP says, oh yeah, we've done that too, and although it seems unlikely our phones aren't hacked, they're working perfectly fine except for a few random nights when such incidents occur. If it's so weird. Then another reply says to that, doesn't mean that it can't not be hacked. You should certainly get it checked. Also, with some phones, people can log onto a laptop computer and still continue texting from the phone via the laptop computer. Otherwise, definitely try and place your phone away from you when you go to sleep, just to eliminate the possibility of it being used sleep texting. Maybe get cameras installed in your bedroom if you can, to see what happens around that time when that texting usually happens. Let us know how you go, OP. Oh yeah, we thought about the cameras too. Either cameras are recording my sleep from another phone, but on second thoughts, that's also kind of scary, so first we will probably try keeping my phone at a distance from me and see if the texts still continue. We will keep you all updated. Thanks. Yeah, a lot of them are suggesting like putting a camera up. I guess it also could be like a possibility of a hacker, but like nobody wants to know that they're hacked or whatever. And I was also like, I don't know, like if your phone was hacked, like I don't know if there would be like wouldn't the hacker wanted to get like your information first, like before anything, right? Like, I don't know. It all seems odd, 'cause it's like, then what's the point, you know? Yeah, so maybe it is a hacker, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, definitely agree with a lot of the comments where OPs should definitely monitor themselves sleeping and stuff. Um, well, this was 22 days ago. I don't know if there's an update or anything about this. I'm gonna look at their page and see if there's an update. Okay. Okay, okay, so I looked at another reply from this, and one of the comments actually addresses something that I would like to know, which is, the first message and what that message was, because OP mentioned that the message was sent, but they didn't say what message it was. But yeah, it said, I would love to know more about this. It's really strange. What was it saying in the start that you mentioned, if you don't mind me asking? OP says, the first message was just a word bonk. It's something my guy says to me for fun, but I reply with something else. So me saying that is weird. Even we both noted that I don't say that. But that was one of the last few messages from him that night, so it's like the messages are just imitating whatever he said last before going to bed rather than what I said. This continued even the it's too message. settings shows the app was unlocked and opened around the time when the message was sent. So yeah, it's weird. Okay, now, after knowing that information, it doesn't, if it's like related to like what um her boyfriend says and like their conversations, I don't know, it makes it seem even more unlikely that maybe it's like a third party, or maybe, I don't know how. Damn, y'all. But what I want to know from this, I don't know if like I'm reading this wrong, but like the OP mentions how like this is like from like prior conversations. I wonder if those conversations are like message conversations or like conversations that they had in person, like IRL. Because then it's like it makes it, I don't know, I feel like there's a difference, because then if it's like from the phone, then maybe it's like, maybe it makes it more tangible that maybe there's a hacker, right? I don't know. But if it's like in person, maybe, you know, it's still a possibility, but it's like, I don't know. But I definitely would like to know if this is a case of sleepwalking, because I feel like that's the most tangible explanation for this. But yeah, hopefully OB keeps us posted, because I don't think there's anything more on this story so far. But yeah, I think that will wrap up our first session of Reddit stories. Only about 3 Reddit stories, but oh my bad, I keep on touching that wire. But hopefully y'all like this first ASMR video. I'm kinda nervous. Guys. But yeah, hopefully you guys liked it. If you do, drop a comment. Please let me know if you guys want to see more of this content or other content. I'm so open to doing other formats or stuff like that. If you guys suggest it. And yeah, I would love to do another one of these videos, because this is just so fun. Listening to these scary stories and listening to everybody's experiences, right? Sharing it with you guys.